Hero and Hero and Leander by Christopher Marlowe. On Hellespont, guilty of true love's blood, in view and opposite, two cities stood. Sea borders disjointed by Neptune's might, the one Abydos, the other Sestos' height. At Sestos Hero dwelt, Hero the fair, whom young Apollo courted for her hair, and offered as a dower his burning throne, where she should sit for men to gaze upon. The outside of her garments were of lawn, the lining purple silk, and gilt stars drawn, her wide sleeves green and bordered with a grove, where Venus in her naked glory strove to please the careless and disdainful eyes of proud Adonis that before her lies. Her kirtle blue, whereupon was many a stain, made with the blood of wretched lovers slain. Upon her head she wore a myrtle wreath, from whence her veil reached to the ground beneath. Her veil was artificial flowers and leaves, whose workmanship both man and beast deceives. Many would praise the sweet smell as she passed, when 'twas the odour which her breath forth cast, and there for honey bees have sought in vain, and beast from thence have lighted there again. About her neck hung chains of pebble stone, which, lighted by her neck, like diamonds shone. She wore no gloves, for neither sun nor wind would burn or parch her hands, but to her mind, or warm or cool them, for they took delight to play upon those hands, they were so white. Buskins of shells all silvered she used, and branched with blushing coral to the knee, where sparrows perched of hollow pearl and gold, such as the world would wonder to behold. Those with sweet water oft her handmaid fills, which, as she went, would chirrup through the bills. Some say for her the fairest Cupid pined, and looking in her face was spooked blind. But this is true, so like was one the other, as he imagined Hero was his mother, and ofttimes into her bosom flew, about her naked neck his bare arms threw, and laid his childish head upon her breast, and with still panting rocked, there took his rest. So lovely fair was Hero, Venus' nun, as nature wept, thinking she was undone, because she took more from her than she left, and of such wondrous beauty her bereft. Therefore in sign of her treasure suffered wrack, since Hero's time hath half the world been bleak. Amorous Leander, beautiful and young, whose tragedy divine Musaeus sung, dwelt at Abydos, since him dwelt there none, for whom succeeding times make greater moan. His dangling tresses, that were never shorn, had they been cut into a colloqu's born, had they been cut unto colloqu's born, would have allured the venturous youth of Greece, to hazard more than for the golden fleece. Fair Cynthia wished his arms might be her sphere. Grief made her pale, because she moved not there. His body was as straight as Circe's wand. Jove might have sipped out nectar from his hand. Even as delicious meat is to the taste, so was his neck in touching, and surpassed the white of Pelops' shoulder. I could tell ye how smooth his breast was, how white his belly, and whose immortal finger did imprint that heavenly path with many a curious dint that runs along his back. But my rude pen can hardly blazon forth the loves of men, much less of powerful gods. Let it suffice that my slack muse sings of Leander's eyes, those orient cheeks and lips exceeding his, that leapt into the water for a kiss of his own shadow, and despising many, died ere he could envy the love of any. Had wild Hippolytus, Leander seen, enamoured of his beauty had he been, his presence made the rudest peasant melt, that in the vast uplandish country dwelt. The barbarous Thracian shoulders moted with naught, was moved with him, and for his favour sought. Some swore he was a maid in man's attire, for in his lovely looks were all that men desire. A pleasant smiling cheek, a speaking eye, a brow for love to banquet royally. And such as knew he was a man would say, Leander, thou art made for amorous play. Why art thou not in love, and loved of all? Though thou be fair, yet be not thine own thrall. Though while art thou not in love, and loved of all? Though thou be fair, yet be not thine own thrall. Stop there.